Well, hello, and welcome back to another exciting and somewhat somber edition of Coffee with Stephen. So, this week's blog is entitled Nous, Sommes, Tout, Charlie. Forgive the French iteration, but there's a meaning behind it. As all of you are well aware, Charlie Kirk was assassinated last week. And I really struggled with how I would present this blog. First and foremost, I should tell you that while I was familiar with Charlie Kirk and familiar with the work that he did, I wasn't what I would say a fan of Charlie Kirk. That is not, by the way, to indicate that I didn't appreciate the work that he did. I just was somewhat unfamiliar with it. I tend to focus more on, say, Jordan Peterson, than Charlie Kirk. But that being said, immediately after the assassination, I began watching numerous videos of his, and I was utterly impressed. Sometimes I would find that his level of discourse was potentially alarming, but for the most part, this was an individual that used logic and reason, guided by his Christian identity, in order to promulgate a extremely coherent argument for not only a way of comporting yourself ethically within your life, but also how our polity should be structured. His message resonated with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of individuals, and arguably speaking, really helped to motivate the movement of young people in the direction of returning us to a constitutional originalist principle. Now, the reason that I use the French alliteration in the title of the blog actually specifically relates to another event that had taken place several years ago. This was the terrorist attack on the French magazine Charlie Hebdo. That particular situation, that magazine had decided to publish cartoon pictures of the Prophet Muhammad. This evidently was a capital offense, and as a result, several people did in fact die. The assault on free speech, the assault on free thought, led several French people to protest, and they were holding up signs that said, "Je suis Charlie," I am Charlie. What was interesting, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I was seeing this outpouring of response from not only people in the United States, and some really vile people that essentially were supporting the assassination, which is something we're going to have to discuss later on, but international support. More specifically, I started seeing people in the south of France also holding up those original signs, "Je suis Charlie." I took a little iteration on that. I expanded it. Nous sommes tous Charlie. We are all Charlie. The attack on him, the attack on free speech, the attack on ideas, the concept that one would use violence in order to silence your opponent because you have lost the ability to combat that opponent with persuasion or the veracity of your ideas, is the ultimate death of Western civilization. We are all Charlie. Thank you. As always, train constantly, train consistently, train repetitively, and train with purpose. Above all else, stay safe.